Beers, cigarettes, caffeine, and sugar. Let's throw in some snacks in good measure. I really empathize with people who turn to smoking, drinking, or any form of addiction, including tea, coffee, sugar, snacks, television, whatever have you. Because these are coping mechanisms, meaning that I have some pain in my life. It can be physical pain. And for that matter, let's throw opioids or some sort of drug use as a result. A lot of people are going through some sort of physical pain in their life. Some people are going through emotional pain in their life, or mental pain in their life, or a pain or a suffering of some sort that they cannot even define it. And somehow, through any one of these addictions, it makes them feel a little bit better, albeit temporarily. So we cannot judge these people who go through it. Who wants to suffer? I don't want to suffer. Yes, we understand no pain, no gain in life and spirituality. You have to somehow suffer to learn the lesson you need to. And perhaps there is another school of thought that if you learn, then you no longer have to suffer. It's not suffering that is necessary, it is the learning the lessons of life that is necessary. Suffering or pain is just perhaps a means for life to get our attention so we can focus on things that we've been avoiding. So then what do we do? Perhaps we can say that these coping mechanisms are a sign of weakness. No, I'm not judging. The question is, what are the alternate ways? If we can sit with our pain, if we can go through our pain, if we can go through our difficulty, if we can face going through the entire IOLE integration cycle, acknowledging the pain, accepting the pain, sitting with the pain, and surrendering your pain to the higher consciousness, to the higher power, to the present moment awareness, to the silence within, is another coping mechanism. And this way of integration doesn't have any downside. And the results are more lasting because once a layer is digested, it is gone. We may go through uncovering of additional layers, but once it is done, it is done. Once we have so called gone through the entire integration cycle, then we are wiser. And once we have that wisdom, it never goes away. Whereas through coping mechanisms of food and drinks and so forth, or other types of addiction, we are merely postponing it. We are merely numbing ourselves from the pain. Being true to my experience is so important. Good people sometimes they keep those experiences within themselves and suffer because they don't want their loved ones to suffer. For that matter, they don't even want the strangers to suffer. And instead, they take that suffering upon themselves and just take it all the way in by themselves without anyone knowing anything about it and go through life, pain and suffering. Sometime thinking that I don't know if anyone will understand it. And they're good people. Instead, if they're able to open up, be open to their pain and suffering and allow that pain and suffering, allowing pain and suffering instead of hiding pain and suffering, facing pain and suffering instead of running away from pain and suffering, accepting that pain and suffering instead of rejecting that pain and suffering, surrendering that pain and suffering, letting go that pain and suffering instead of being attached to the pain and suffering. That is true love of life itself. That is truly I love me in action.